Eighth graders. I'm going to be creating a video here of our vocab, something I normally wouldn't have done, but we really don't have a choice in our current situation. So you should have gotten a vocabulary sheet in this email, which if you haven't printed off yet, go ahead and do that. If you don't have a printer, go ahead and just write down the words on a sheet of paper. We're not going to do all the words, so I'm going to go ahead and tell you what words we're going to do. So the ones that are starred. So we are for sure going to talk about what a transformation is, what a pre-image and image are, what a translation is, what a reflection is, so the whole front page. The back page, we are really only going to talk about what a rotation is. The rest of these vocabulary words I'll hit in later videos, but for today, we're just going to mainly talk about that rotation. And then on the next page, we will talk about a dilation, and we'll talk about an enlargement versus a reduction, which you can see right there just means bigger or smaller. And then on that back page, I'm going to be giving you just a few other notes that don't fit right into our vocab. So you may want to take that down. So you may want to pause the video now and get everything ready. Okay? Hopefully you're back from pausing. The other thing I'm going to say is you're going to want to pause this video because I'm just going to quickly give you a whiteboard that has the definition. I'm not going to hold it there very long. I'm going to hold it there for about 2 seconds. So you probably need to pause and get the notes taken. So the first thing we're going to talk about is what is a transformation. The definition of transformation is a change in position, shape, or size of a figure. And in a second, I'm going to talk about the types of transformations. So you may have heard about transformations before, like the movie Transformers. Well, that's a transformation. A robot changes completely into a car or vice versa. That's not the type of transformation we're going to do, but it is something to keep in the back of your mind when you're trying to think about it. So here you probably want to go to the other notes section of your notes. And here's an idea of what we're going to talk about in terms of transformations. Okay, there are two main types of transformations. The ones where things remain congruent meaning same size, same shape, everything is the same, and then ones that are not congruent. Okay, not congruent means not the same size, same shape. And if they are not congruent, they can be similar or 100% different. Your movie Transformers with the robots, that's going to be 100% different. Going from a car to a robot is nothing the same, right? Okay, so here are the ones we're going to concentrate on first. The transformations that remain congruent. These are called isometries. You will not need to know the word isometries, but I'm going to tell you anyway. And the three types of isometries are translations, reflections, and rotations. So we're going to go in depth with translations, reflections, and rotations later on. Okay? On the not congruent side, you can have similar figures, which we talked about in the last unit before school ended. Similar being same shape, different size, and you need to have those sides are proportional. If you remember, we set up the equal fractions. And that type of transformation is called a dilation. And we're going to talk about that later too. But basically that's going to be something that's twice as big, 3 times as big, that kind of a thing. And then of course, like I said, your not similar would be like the movie Transformers, or if you've ever seen Extreme Makeover Home Edition, where they completely transform the house. It doesn't look anything like it used to, right? So that would kind of be the same thing, where it's not congruent, it's not similar, it doesn't even look the same. All right. Every single transformation has what we call a pre-image and an image. So find those on your vocab sheet. The prefix pre literally means before. So a pre-image is the figure before you do a transformation on it. Okay? Think of preschool. That's the school before you go to school. If you're a big NFL person, most of us watch pregame on Sunday mornings before we watch the actual games. Or if you play sports, you do your pre-game warm-up before you actually play the game. So pre means before. The image is after you've done the transformation. So for example, a pre-image would be you, and the image would be your reflection. So you in the mirror, that's the image. So that is an example of pre-image and image. So my triangle before I translate it, my quadrilateral before I reflect it, those kinds of things. Okay? Now I'm still going to do pre-image and image. My dog's barking. Okay? So your pre-image, okay, we label with just the letters. Sorry, my fingers are backwards. A, B, and C. So we learned last unit how to draw triangles with the letters. So this would be called triangle ABC. Your image, so how I know the difference between something is I'm going to use what we call primes, which are these little apostrophes after the letter. So this is read A prime, B prime, and C prime. Okay, so the pre-image is triangle ABC, and the image is triangle A prime, B prime, C prime. We'll talk more about that in later videos. Okay, so in simplest terms, a translation is a slide. Everything remains the same. It'd be the same as you taking 5 steps to the right. Okay, your directions for a slide are up, down, left, right, north, south, east, west. Okay, you're just moving something to the right, to the left. So if I took my phone and I slid it on the table to the right, that's a translation, okay? A reflection is a flip, and you see reflections all the time. Obviously, your reflection in the mirror is just a flipped version of you, okay? So if you raise your right hand, and this is what's happening to me in the video, which is why I'm getting mixed up, if you raise your right hand, it appears as if your reflection has raised their left hand, okay? So it's kind of like a flip. Or if you've ever looked, I don't have wording, okay? In a mirror, it looks like the wording is flipped. So the image is still congruent. It's just a flip of what you had. And then finally, you have a rotation, which is just a turn. So here's my phone, rotated. I've just turned it upside down. It's still congruent. It's still same size and shape. I've just changed its position. So all of these are going to be a change in position so that everything does remain congruent. But those are your very basic definitions of translation, reflection, and rotation. Okay? Then we have a dilation. A dilation is a size change that is proportional. In other words, you will have a similar figure, just like we did last unit. So I have this example of the triangles. This triangle is 3, 4, 5. This triangle is 6, 8, 10. 3 times 2 is 6. 4 times 2 is 8. 5 times 2 is 10. This would be a dilation because it is not congruent. It's not a translation, rotation, or reflection because these triangles are not congruent. They're different sizes, but they are proportional. They are similar figures. So this is what we call a dilation, and we'll get more into that as this unit progresses. Okay, so that's what I have for you for vocab now. I know I went very quickly through that, but you can always pause and rewind, and each individual video after this is going to go more in depth into all of those things. So you will see them all again. Okay, if you have any questions, let me know.